Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Dream Big with Zhanna, inspiring you to reignite, refire, and refuel your life. And today, you have a rare opportunity to connect with the other side of the world. Actually, depending on where you are, I'm in the United States. My guest is in the UK, right? And we're going to connect and join forces in empowering women and conscious men to live a better, more fulfilled, and blissful life. And so, how are we going to do it? We're going to tell you in a second. First, let me welcome Misti Bliss to the show. Misty, so good to see you.
Hi, Zhanna. Thank you for having me from England.
From England, yes. And I love the way you speak, by the way. I love the British accent. And that's what I mean, I was born and raised in Russia, so we're kind of multinational. But what I want to say, the first time I studied English, I was actually studying British English. And now I completely lost it after all those years living in the United States. But anyway, the show is about you, and I really want to spotlight you and your brilliance today. So, for those of you guys who see Misty for the first time, let me read a little bit from her official bio to introduce her so that you know who she is and what she is all about. And then we'll dive into her story. So, Misty Bliss is an expert transformational teacher, leader, mentor, and successful conscious entrepreneur. Her mission is to empower women to achieve effortless flow in their business and life by sharing the IAM teachings. And IAM is exactly what we're going to be talking about today because this is the instant alignment method that Misty actually created herself. And so sharing her IAM teachings that she created and that she credits as the source of her own fulfillment, success, and impact. She is the founder of the Instant Alignment Method programs, which offer trainings, advanced courses, and coaching and leadership certifications that aim to serve thousands of women from around the globe. These women in the community and business owners with a passion and purpose who feel that their business is being held back and not sure why. Her passion is for world to find its happy place and keep a hold of it. And she believes we each have a responsibility to help this happen. She contributes to this by creating happier, healthier lives for those who do businesses with her and is also proud to be a part of the charity B1G1 Business for Good, which allows small businesses to impact the world in a big way. So, Misty, and from my, I just want to add my flavor. Since the moment I saw you, since we only met on Zoom in the virtual reality, we can see
Absolutely.
each other. I honestly fell in love with you. Just your energy, your smiles, your every time, whether that's the evening for me or the just the beginning, the dawn, I guess, the beginning of the day, the messages or through Facebook that I get from you are always full of not only hope but understanding and deep knowing that it's going to be another phenomenal day. So I just love to be around you. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I want to jump in with the question, what is this big vision for you? What is the vision that you're holding for yourself? Because the program is called Dream Big. So what is your big dream?
Well, my big dream is actually not for me because I've already achieved my big dream and it just continues on a daily basis. So it's actually for the planet. And it is dreaming really big. And it's so that every person on the planet is able to dream big because not everybody can yet. Not everybody can see beyond their own conditioning because we are conditioned so much, and we need to break free from that now. And then they're allowing themselves to dream big and to reach what they need, which ultimately for everybody is happiness. But they don't know that yet, and they can't see that because they may be in a stuck position, maybe they're depressed, whatever, and they just cannot get out of that. So they don't know what else is there. I mean, it's the old adage saying that the grass is greener on the other side. Well, actually, it is. It really is. You just need to come and join us, and then you'll see.
Yes, yes.
It's about letting go.
Yes, absolutely. So, so many different directions we can go from here, and so many questions that I have for you. So, what is it? Let's dive into your story. Now that you're so radiant, has it always been this way, or how did it start? If I'm
No,
sure it was.
no, I am, you must be able to see, I'm just a normal, regular person. There's nothing, I don't feel there's anything extraordinary about me. However, I was born with this feeling that I was, well, not that I knew that I was different. It soon became apparent, even from 3 years old, that people didn't see the world like I saw it, and they didn't think like I thought. And so I was almost, as I grew up, I was almost ostracized and bullied for being different. But when you're born like that, you don't know. This is all you can see. You don't know that you're different from the person next door to you. You have no clue.
Yes, but may I jump with a question, like how different were you? Like in your now looking back, is it something like did you talk to the flowers, or did you like how different is your was
I totally talked to flowers, and as a child believed completely 100% in fairies, and I hugged trees, and I stretched my arms out to the sun and or the moon. I would run barefoot whenever I could. You know, shoes were just not something I wanted to wear ever, because they didn't connect me to earth. And I would make stories up all the time, and my father would say, where do you get these wonderful ideas from? And I couldn't tell you. I just had them, and I just relayed them. And I started, when I could write, I started writing them down and drawing. I wasn't brilliant at drawing, but I would draw however I could. It was always loads of color, loads and loads of color. And I don't know where it came from.
Mhm.
But I used to have lots of dreams, vivid dreams, which when I was 3, 4 years old, I didn't know were dreams. I didn't know that's what they were. And so I'd say, this happened to me. And my friends would be like, no, don't be silly. It didn't happen to you. But actually they were premonitions, because then these things would happen to me. So I was having premonitions. I think a lot of children have premonitions and are slightly psychic. So I don't think I'm elitist here. I just think I'm one of a crowd. But as I grew up into my 20s, I realized that the number of things that had happened to me as a child, which I'd had 2 encounters with pedophiles, I'd had a sexual assault, and then further a rape, all before I was 21 years old. And I realized that I was sending a message that because I was looking like the world was magical, that perhaps I was allowing too much trust, because I am a trusting person, because I believe felt and still feel that is how the world should be, that we should trust. And so anyway, obviously I became vulnerable as a result of all of that. But in my early 20s, I was 21, when I went to a spa. Now, not a spa like we say these days to go and have a massage and that sort of thing. A true spa where you go and have cold water baths and hydrotherapy and eat really clean food and clean water and forage for your food. That kind of a spa. It's quite an old-fashioned look on a spa these days. And I went there, and the person who ran it said to me, so how long have you been a healer? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm not a healer. Mm-hmm. I had no clue what they were talking about. And
how old were you?
I was 21. They weren't the first person who said it to me, but I was so much younger the first time, early teenage years, that I just disregarded it. And I had been a troubled teen at 13. I had been on that precipice of suicide, because I couldn't understand myself and how people treated me. So I just, you rebel from these things. So someone telling you're a healer, it didn't make sense. But my grandmother was a healer. She was a healer of animals. She seemed to be that Dr. Dolittle, or the female version of it, where she could communicate, understand, let them know, and then help them. And she got it from her mother, who was what they classed in those days as a witch. So, but a witch is a healer, that's as long as you're talking a white witch, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think it was always there in the female line, coming down in through that. And I experimented with it and very quickly realized that, yes, I had that ability to help people, whether it be through talking to them, or whether it actually I became a Reiki master very young. And I've been doing that for 20, 30 years now. And I've lectured all over the world.
So this Reiki came into your life before you actually turned 21? Did you?
No. Well, no. I mean, to be honest with you, it is in everybody, but you just have it activated. And then there's certain levels that you can go to. So yes, I mean, Zhanna, you're a healer, but actually you're a healer in many ways, but you can easily say that you're a Reiki healer even without the activation, because if you think about when you get a headache, what do? You might go, put your hand to your head. Well, that's what a healer does. You've got tummy ache, you put your hands to your tummy. So actually you are doing what I call 0 degrees, but you are doing healing. And then if you get it activated, you'll go up in degrees. And so I did that, but it wasn't enough. I was thirsty. It got so much great results, but not enough for me. And so I traveled the world. I lived in many, many countries, 3 continents. I did 4 continents. What am I talking about? I've lived in the Americas, 4 continents. And so I decided to try lots of different healing techniques. And I spoke to wise women and shamans and witch doctors in Africa. And I just absorbed everything. And I learned traditional holistic modalities as well. I did, for the body, I became a Pilates instructor. For the mind, I did NLP and EFT and everything. I wanted to learn as much as possible to realize where there were connections and where there were gaps. And that's when it all came together for me. I just realized there were these gaps and I didn't like them, because I didn't think anyone could fully embrace their life until these gaps were filled. They would get so far and no further. And I thought that was
in the gaps. You're talking about the mind, body, spirit. That's
yes.
the connection. So you were able to identify what the gaps were for you, and then you kind of you started.
I needed to heal myself from the trust issues I then had and the vulnerability I felt from the I hesitate to say bad men, but they all have their reasons for what they do. But I was able to identify where my issues were. And I knew that I needed to clear those issues for me to achieve anything worth achieving in my life. And until I did that, I didn't feel I could be happy.
And so the travel part of your story, that you lived in all these different places, so that was your healing process. You were traveling because you were studying with all these masters in different continents. Can you tell us more about, like you mentioned Africa in the medicine people, or shamans, or
witch doctors, but yes, but they are shamans. They are.
Where did you study? In what?
I went to, I was in South Africa. I've been in Kenya, Eastern Africa. I've been in North Africa. All these are very different types of medicine that they use, but based on their own traditional cultures. And I've lived in the Far East. So, you've got Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, Cambodia.
Yeah, they're also known for their natural holistic healing.
Totally. And it's what I loved about these places is I didn't feel different. I just felt so welcomed. And the fact that I was thirsty for knowledge and they were ready to give knowledge, they loved the fact that I was a student as such, a student of the world. And they just embraced me. Every person I met was like having an old friend who I'd met before. It was just lovely, really lovely to feel that I finally belonged. And I feel that's what everybody should feel, because I'm sure the people who will be listening to this will feel at some point in their lives that they have felt different and not belonging. And we all belong in the human race. Yeah. So we just need to embrace the fact that it would be really boring if we were all identical. It really would. And we all have different strengths and gifts to give. So it's a case of knowing.
Yeah, I just want to share this quote. I just shared that with my mastermind, women mastermind, yesterday, but I want to share it because that's exactly what you're talking about. And I think he just put it, Joel Goldsmith, I'm sure you know that author. He put it very succinctly. And it says, God expresses God, and that expression appears as you. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
It is that. Well, let me counter that with Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else. Was it something you're not? Something else is the greatest accomplishment. Yes. So that is exactly what it is, to make you something else. And we need to accomplish that. We have to. It's. I believe it's our duty on earth. We've been put here at this time for a particular reason, especially women. I have to say, I have this thing. I wouldn't call myself a feminist, because I like to consider myself, I'm a mother, and I consider myself feminine. But equally, I go and climb a tree. I'm adventurous. I'm free spirited. But I do feel that women at the moment.
How many?
Sorry, go on.
You froze for a moment. How many kids do you have?
I have 2 of my own, and then I would consider one of my nieces to be my daughter as well. So I like to say I have 3. She's grown up actually now, but she's still my daughter. I absolutely adore her. She spent a lot of time with us when her parents were going through lots of troubles, and so she's my daughter. 3 lovely children.
I see. And so to finish that thought, sorry for interruption. I'm just curious and lots of questions for you. So you're saying that especially women, because you feel you can equally go climb a tree, but you're the mom and you're doing all that thing. So why is it specifically women you're?
Well, I just feel at this time that we have got the greatest possible opportunity, and it's not come around by mistake, that even the Dalai Lama has said that it's the Western woman who is going to change the world. And I completely concur with that. I feel it. The number of people I speak to, women I speak to, not necessarily just my clients, but the community that I have embraced around the world, they all say the same. They all feel that this is the time when we need to step up, that we need to find our voice, and we can still be partners, wives, mothers. We can still be all that. But there's a hunger inside of us that's saying, and what else? And there's more. How do we do this? And so the few people that have already attained that, and I like to hope that I am one of those, can help those who haven't quite reached it, or have a small voice and want to gain that confidence and that knowledge now, or perhaps they feel they're being held back, or they're still lost in their current lives. We can help them get out of it. And we will.
Yes, well, you are already doing it, and because you're just incredibly knowledgeable, you're very wise, and you're a natural healer. You're listening to your story since you knew all of that. You were very connected from the very beginning we just sometimes have to go the full circle to
You
realize
do.
what,
You
what
do.
it was, right? And most of the time, that's what happens. Now, a question, Misty, to you about your method. So it seems like it just progressed through your teachings, through the learnings, through your own journey of healing. So tell us about this magic. What's this magic wand that you
Oh,
created in this IAM, right? Instant alignment method.
yes. Well, first of all, I am, the statement I am is already powerful before you even add anything after it. You know, I am positive, I am humble, I am benevolent. Is whatever you say afterwards is powerful, and it sinks right inside of you. And you
That
don't have to overthink it. It gets you right in the heart of it.
I just got it. You the abbreviation, right? You're talking about the because it's IAM. I was thinking instant alignment method, but in when you look at the letters, it's I am. That's right. It
Yes.
just dawned on me.
So what I do is the company name is Ergo I Am, which means therefore I am. So
Really?
using the instant alignment method will make you totally, totally in alignment, but powerful in many different ways. But I'm jumping ahead there. The crux of it is that I had to fill the gaps, and the gaps came when I created this and when I worked on myself using this method. And long after I was, I want to say fine, that sounds very, very limited. I'm completely happy. I'm blissful. I am full of joy. I'm fulfilled. I'm successful. And I love my job as a mentor, as a mother, and in my community locally and non-geographically, so abroad as well. I love my whole, I love my existence.
Yes. So who usually comes to you, and who do you apply this method for or to? Is it the problems like people who have issue for mostly women, right? So you work mostly with
It
women.
is mostly women now, because I've used it on everyone. I've used it on men, I've used it on children, I've used it on business women, or I don't know, a pianist. I had a pianist once, a concert pianist. I've used it with everybody, but I found that what keeps me the happiest is when I work with
High
women,
achievers.
high achievers who perhaps are stuck. They've got to a certain level, and they just don't know how to get through that ceiling. They just can't crack it, or they just feel that they're just not in flow anymore. And whereas it was all easy, and now it's not. So
So
I
the example that you gave me last time when we were speaking, it's could you give us some stories about one of or a couple of stories from the people, the real people you worked with? One was in I believe she was you said the millionaire, right? And then she couldn't and then she lost everything, and then she didn't know how to make millions again. So what
she
was that story? It
yeah,
really really stuck.
this yeah, this was incredible. She is English, and she at that time had been a millionaire, and she had a heart attack young. We're talking in her 30s. She was a mother of two, a husband, and she was the main breadwinner. He was successful, but not as successful as her. She just seemed to make it without blinking. It was just so easy for her. And then after the heart attack, and she was completely well again, and spending more time with the family, as it is a wake-up call, of course, but she would still work effectively. I don't like to use the word hard, because we don't need to work hard. We just need to take action and work effectively. So she was taking effective action, and she just was not getting, she was getting the thousands, but she was never reaching. She would get to a certain point and nosedive down again, get to a certain point. So she came to me, she said, oh, it's probably my mind playing tricks with me and saying that I'm going to have another heart attack if I work too hard and make the millions again. That's what she thought it was. And so she thought that's what we were going to get rid of, her fear of having another heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was absolutely nothing to do with that whatsoever. And she was as surprised as anybody when it was actually to do with relationships, personal relationships in her past, that at any time could in fact have hit and stopped her from progressing her life. But it wasn't before her heart attack, it was after, and so her mind had played the tricks and associated the two. We cleared it all together very easily, and then she went off. She's a really good friend of mine now, and she went off and she actually changed her business. She just had that epiphany moment, I guess you might say, and she just thought, I'm not going to do that industry anymore. I'm going to start a fresh, brand new industry she'd never been in before. And it worked. And because she felt clear, she just, with such ease and liberation, she went back up again. And she still sees her children a lot, plays with them, but she also works and is back where she should be.
And that's what you used. You used your I am. I'm gonna
Yes,
call it I am. Ergo
absolutely.
method. I finally done it. I mean, just got it. Oh, why in the world? I thought it was a long name, but I love it, right? Instant alignment method. I
Yes.
love that story. So I'm looking at the time, and we're kind of getting closer to the end of the program. But
Sure.
don't worry, guys. I mean, I can't get enough of Misty. So you will have a chance to see her in action. We're kind of spilling the beans right now for the next episodes. But for today, Misty, if I had to ask you, what would be, and I ask every guest on the show, what would be one or more, if up to you, gems out of your treasure box that you have a lot in your life? It could be a magic wand, one little kind of tip, or behind the like peek behind the curtain in your I am method, or it could be anything else, something for everybody who is listening to you right now.
So actually, I'm going to read very quickly. It's very short. I'm going to read out of this book, which is being released this week.
Yes, congratulations. This is the book. Tell us about the book, because that's
Well,
his
this
gift.
is I am what is classed as a philanthropist, and this book is available on Amazon, and it's completely everything profit wise goes to charity for the whole book. So anybody who buys it prior to it being released, and so it's being released later this week, it has already pre-sold, shall I say, over 10,000 copies.
And this is a compilation book,
It
right?
is a compilation book of 62 different authors, all thought leaders in many different industries and all around the world, from the Americas, Australasia, and obviously Europe as well. And we've all come together. A lot of us have met each other, and we've come together with a question. We've been asked a question as if we were grandparents now. A lot of them in there probably are. I'm not. But we had to answer a question as if we were giving advice to our grandchildren, and we knew that the advice we were giving would definitely change their lives forever. So in a way, the book is a legacy, because everybody has got something different in their chapters to say. And I can't get enough of it. I mean, I was lucky, I've had this a month, so I've already read lots of chapters, and I absolutely love them. But one of the ones is a quote. It's a lovely quote, and it's an Eastern quote. And this is my advice to everybody. It says, "Watch your thoughts; they become your words." You might know this one, Zhanna. Watch your words; they become your actions. Watch your actions; they become your habits. Watch your habits; they become your destiny. And if you absorb those words, you will realize that right from the very first thought that you have, you need to think carefully. And this is why being positive is a much better thought process than being negative. So, and it's a simple switch, And I just want you, Zhanna, and everybody else listening today to practice that anytime a thought jumps into your head that you might class as negative, like you're driving the car and someone cuts you up and you just think instantly, silly person, or words to that effect could be a lot stronger. Switch it and think they might be having a bad day.
Mhm.
Because even though that still sounds quite negative, it's from your point of view, it's not. You've actually said it from a very forgiving way. And forgiving is a positive action. So all you've got to do is switch. So if you suddenly feel a quell of anger coming up, squash it, flip it around, and think instantly of something that you love. I don't know, donuts, the sunshine, stars at night. Think of anything else that is instantly positive. Just change that thought, because everything is energy, including thoughts. It's all energy. You cannot get rid of energy. People
Yeah.
say you can. Buddhist monks, for instance, say that they have to wash their soles of their feet and shave their heads because they believe that there's stale energy there, bad energy. Well, that's not true. I'm sorry to say against Buddhist monks. It's not true. You need to change the energy. That's all.
That's all. Oh, thank you so much. I love everything you're saying. And yes, it's very true. Our thoughts create our words, and the language we use is our, yeah, becomes the habit. And it's like, yeah, I have a teenage son.
Oh,
So yeah,
you
I
know.
always have a conversation about that. You know what that means. That my kids are wonderful, but just as a constant loving reminder that it's not just the word. It's not. It's the energy. Everything is energy, just like you said. Thank you so much. And guess what, guys? We haven't told you, but this quote is actually from the book that Misty just showed you, the movement. She's gifting us her section, and there is a link in the description to this video. There is a link to Misty's section in the book. By the way, Misty, I'm so curious. I gotta ask you this question: what your name means, because Misty, and then Misty is a beautiful name, and it's also, it's like a mysticism, right? Very close to that. And then your last name is Bliss. Is it the real is it the real name?
No, Misty is. I was christened Misty, but Bliss is not. I had my maiden name, obviously, then I got married, and then I got divorced. It wasn't a bad thing in any way. I'm still friends with my ex-husband, and I have two beautiful children from that relationship. But I did get to a point where I needed to heal from certain things.
Mhm.
And I realized that I didn't want to go backwards to my maiden name, because I'm all about, I mean, as you must have guessed, I'm all about living in the moment
Yeah.
and looking forward, not looking too much to the future, but looking forward. So I thought, well, what do I do? Well, my company name at that time, and it is one of my companies, is called Blissful Energy. And so for a year, I pretended my surname was Bliss. And in the end, it gave so much joy to everybody because they smiled every time I said my name was Bliss. And I just thought, oh my God, it's another way of healing, a name. And I love it because it makes me smile, but it makes everyone else laugh or smile or whatever. So you can't be cross with a name like Misty Bliss.
Absolutely. I love that so much. It's like the dress. Every somebody, one of the healers in my life, he said that you are who you are. This is our soul, the essence. The name we're given, or we choose for ourselves, is the pretty dress or the outfit that we want to give. So you tried it on and you liked it so much, and you
I did.
for a year, and you decided to keep it in your wardrobe. I love that. So with you going back, and thank you so much, going back to the gift, and thank you so much for being so generous. You guys can read comment, because in the comments you will, I mean, in the description to this video, please find the link to Misty's chapter in the book movement. If you're inspired to buy a purchase the whole book, please do so on Amazon. I feel, Misty, if you could please share the link to like the Amazon link where people can
Yes.
go directly and purchase that book. And you
Yes.
said that all proceeds go to the what kind of charity? Do you know what charity?
Well, the B1G1 is a massive community. It's a non-profit company, and actually all the money goes to charities around the whole world. So it's anything. It could be someone getting an eye operation because they're blind or something in Cambodia, or going to school in Kenya, or having a soup kitchen in England, or
Yeah.
a farmer, a sustainable farmer down in Peru or wherever. It's all over the world, and it's all charities, and they're all very carefully vetted. And they get 100% of the proceeds. We don't take any of the admin. That's done by a membership. So there's nothing taken away.
Well, first of all, it's an honorable cause. That's what I hear. And the second thing that I see and hear in this situation, that at the beginning, when I asked you, what is your big dream? You said, I'm already living and I want to give back to the humanity. And that's what you are doing. So you're the living proof of like your word goes together with your actions. So
Oh, thank you.
thank you for doing that. So if you guys are inspired, please by no means go, and we're going to post the link to the whole book. Meanwhile, read this chapter written by Misty. I'm going to read that too. And also, if you feel compelled, if you feel inspired to connect, ask questions, Misty directly, you can reach her through her website, which is ergo I am .uk.com, and it's also in the description or announcement for the video. And you can also just very simply, right now the world is connected through the social media, just reach out and PM, private message her on Facebook. Also comment, share this video here on Hummingbird Academy today. Ask questions below underneath the video. Also, this video, the same episode, is going to be on YouTube. If you go to Zhanna Shpits, Dream Big with Zhanna Misty, you will see this. And share by no means with everybody who you believe will be inspired, just like you were today. And you guys are watching and listening to Dream Big with Zhanna, inspiring you to reignite, refire, and refuel your life. Um, be on the lookout for another episode with Misty, where you will experience her in action using her I love that. I am method, instant alignment method. And until then, I want to finish with what you texted me today with. And the expression was, I told you at the beginning, she's always so positive, and it's so true to every word of it. And this is our wish from Misty and myself to all of you guys. Today is a good day for all. Thank you, Misty, so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you
Uh,
very much.
thank you, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.